Alright, today we're working on the rough idle for the Armor H3. A lot of Armor, well, the 3.5, 3.7 got a really rough idle, and usually that rough idle come from the MAF sensor and the throttle body that's over there, right there, and it gets all dirty and clunky. So what I'll do, I'll strip everything out, and I'll show you guys which product I use to clean them. There's actually cans of cleaner that are specific to clean those. Usually it's because there is no element in them, so there's less chance they short the whole system if you shoot it, like residue that stays behind, right? So let's say you're on the idle, and I don't remember how much the RPMs stand. I think it stays about at 900 on the idle, around there. And you also always feel that little shaking, rough. Just it's not normal, right? So usually what happens, it gets all dirty. Of course, clean your air filter, but clean the MAF sensor and clean the throttle, and you'll see. I did the throttle last year, and I'm starting to get a rough idle after the whole winter. So maybe there'll be a bit of residue in it. I would like to show it to you guys, because the first time I cleaned it, it was dirty. It was caked in it. So the throttle got a flap, and that flap couldn't close completely. It was always stuck in that dirt in the front of it. Well, it's not supposed to close completely, but I mean, it didn't properly close, right? So I'll start unscrewing all the clamps right there. We got another one right there, it's on top. If you do the job, just make sure that you install the bolts in a way, when you reinstall everything, that is obviously easy to pick up. That one is pretty straightforward, right? It's right there. But this one, last time I did it, I put it in the back. I saw some models, it's actually on this side. So just make sure that you try to align it with the notch, so it's easier to get some access. Because you can try to fit it, even though if the notch is not there, it's gonna kind of fit there stiff. So make sure you put it in the right place, all right? So I'll start unscrewing the whole thing, and I'll be back. Okay, so what I did, I used a 8mm ratchet right there, and I unscrewed it. So you don't want to remove it completely, right? So after that, it's going to be hard to put it back, but so it's loose enough so I can actually move it with my hand, right? So after that, the only thing you need to do is pull it backward. If it's really stiff, because remember, I did mine last year, just use a flat screwdriver, and you see, usually you can actually at least split them apart enough to fit the screwdriver, and at the same time, with the screwdriver you're pulling with it, move your tube at the same time, right? So try to move it with one hand. That's gonna be hard with one hand. Won't be able to do it with one hand, but anyways, what I'll do, I'll cut off and remove it with both hands. But you may want to remove that connector right there from this side. See, it's pretty easy. There's a flap at the top, squeeze it, and you pull it. That's it. You can see the little tab on top of it. Just remove it. What we'll do for this one, to clean it, we'll just unscrew those and remove it. At the same time, as you see, I removed the cover for the airbox. Remove your air filter, and if you got a compressor or a can of compressed air, put the can inside of it, or the hose for your compressor, and pass a hose inside of it with, well, relative high pressure to remove all the dirt and dust that's in it. Like, mine is not bad. I don't feel that's bad. It's kind of dirty a bit, but it's not the end of the world. That can last at least another year for sure. You don't need to change your air filter every year. Do that little maintenance every year. Check, clean your MAF sensor, clean that throttle over there, and get some air in your filter. at least you'll know everything's clean, and that will reduce that rough idle. So yeah, so I'll remove the MAF sensor, and I'll remove that hose, and we'll move to the next step. All right, so to remove that pipe, what I usually do to make your job easier, I will pull that one back with both hands until it unconnects. Then I'll flip it toward the dipstick, and then I'll move it up just in between, and I'll be able to pull that one back and then remove that one, right? Just like this. That is for that pipe. Now for the MAF sensor, a 6mm could do the job. It's going to be snug a bit. So what I use for that, it's Imperial. It's 732. So if you got a 732, that's going to be a perfect fit for those. Not sure if they all like that, but for mine, that's what it was. Once the sun's connected, the MAF sensor will completely just slide out really easily. So I'll try to show you really close. Let's see, right there. I don't know if you can see, the bottom part is all blacked out, right? It's pretty hard to see actually. But for me, it's really easy and obvious to see all that accumulation at the bottom of the wire. So what we'll do, we'll just clean it with the cleaning can, and I'll show you which one I use right after. But that's going to be for that part. Just put back your bolt in place so you don't lose them. They're really tiny, easy to lose. So yeah, just screw them back in place and they'll be secured and you'll know where they are. For the air filter, just take both hands at the top and just twist it. When it's not been removed for a while, you may have to really apply a lot of force with both hands by twisting and pulling it backward, and it's going to remove itself, just like this. As you can see, it's pretty dirty. You can clean it out, air pressure or a little vacuum, something like that. It can actually help out. I'll check the inside. Seems pretty clean. It's not bad. So that's good. So I'll clean the MAF sensor and we'll see what happens from there. So now we need to reach that throttle body. So as you can see, this whole box is connected from the bottom right there. There's one bolt there, and we'll take a look on the other side. Don't see anything for now, so it's not bad. Just know that once you unconnect those two, you'll need to unscrew that pipe. That's actually the same bracket as this one, right? So you do the same. You unscrew them enough to be snug, and then when you'll try to pull that out, it's going to disconnect from there. If it's too tight, do the same. Try to move it, put a screwdriver in between, pry it at the same time with the other end, try to make it snug. And from there, we'll see what happens. But for now, I'll remove the two next bolts and we'll see what happens. Okay, so what I did, I just removed the two bottom one, the two bolts I was talking about. They were 10mm, and as you can see, they can be really hard to reach. So either get an extension, or you can try to do it from the side, but won't be as fast, so it doesn't really matter. Right after what I did, I snugged the first bracket right there, the bolts over it, and from there, the only thing I did, I pulled it backward, like this. But be careful. As you can see, the coils are right on top, and you don't want to put too much weight on those. So make sure when you pull it upward, right? Like the way you saw it at the beginning of the video, from that section of the video, it was up, right? Because I was pulling it upward. Just make sure you do that too. From there, we'll look something. You can see right there the plate. It seems pretty clean on mine. It's all clean. That's another good thing. So now the only thing I need to do is remove that bolt, and from there we'll be able to reach those 4 bolts that hold the throttle body in place. So we'll remove those. So we'll be right back. Okay. So I removed the first part, and as you can see, there's 4 bolts holding the throttle body in place. One there, one at the bottom, right, one on this side, and this one. When you remove the bottom ones, that one and the one on the other side, you will land in front of the coils. With the extension and the 10mm, you can actually remove them, but just make sure you don't put too much pressure on those while you're unscrewing. Worst case scenario, you can always use a universal joint. Well, joint, what I'm talking about. Well, a universal to remove them. So now it's going to be completely snug like this. And the only thing that's holding it in place is that connector from the top and that one. That one is pretty particular. When you look at it, it's a small connector system. Usually you just need to squeeze them, but it seems to be completely tight there. So I'll remove it and I'll show you after what it looks like from the other side. Alright, so we'll be right back. So there, I removed it. The first connector is pretty easy. Same thing as the first one for the MAF sensor. You just squeeze the top downward, at the same time you just pull it out. Really simple. The tricky one is this one. If you look carefully, the way it goes, that little bracket, I wonder if I can actually show the inside of it. It's gonna be hard, huh? Yeah, it's... Can you see it working? So basically that squeezes the pipe in place. And you need with your thumb to squeeze that top part right there, and it pushes it backward and opens the pipe for the new one to get in place. So yeah, so you need to squeeze the top part of it the way it's connected. If it's really stiff, push the connector towards the throttle and use a screwdriver or something and squeeze it down and try to work it a bit until it's snug. Then you can actually try to pull it out. Sometimes it can be really stiff. Just be careful, you don't want to break the hose. The hose can be really brittle. That's close to the engine, and usually with the heat of the engine it can be really dry. You can dry it out the plastic. So like I told you, push it toward the the throttle body, squeeze it downward, then pull it out, and it should work. So now to the throttle. It's pretty oily. So see what happened? You got that mixture of oil and gas. It's not completely dry, and throttle itself, it's not caked like the first time. But you see what happened over the year. If you don't do that maintenance year over year, it's gonna cake black like this. You see how it's really like thick product? So that is one of the main causes for the rough idle on those H3s. So make sure to clean it out. To clean the throttle, I use throttle body cleaner. It's really useful. Shoot it really heavy and with a rag, clean it out. Don't be scared. The flap itself can be pushed with your finger. So you can actually really go and clean all the edge, all the inside of it. Make sure to cover on both sides, from that side and the other side. Just make sure you clean it all. So I'll clean mine, and at the same time I'll clean that one. Since I got the product out, I got the cleaner for the MAF sensor. So for a MAF sensor, there's a mass airflow sensor cleaner. Okay, that product is safe for that sensor. And what you'll want to do is shoot it on the electrode right there, the secondary one that's on the right, the one in the middle. Don't be scared to shoot it in the middle part. You don't need to shoot in the connector themselves. For the connectors, I got another kind of product. I'll show it right after. And I'll start by cleaning those with both cans, and I'll come back and I'll show you at the same time the cleaner for the connectors. It's really, really useful. So, all right, let's do this. All right, so I cleaned both of them. As you can see, there is a big difference. Now it's all cleaned up. The proper way that I feel to clean it from my experience with the throttle body cleaner, I always do one every spray all around it. Then I prepare a rag, let it dry out. And after that, what I do, I will shoot it, and with the rag right away, I'll start to scrub out all the dirt around it. Just make sure you open the valve properly, the flap properly, and clean around the main rod from that side and on that side. So shoot it, clean right away with the rag, and that's going to remove it completely. That's going to be a lot easier to do a good job, and that will reduce a lot of rough idle. I swear it's like 40%, 30%, 40% less, and the leftover of that rough idle will come from the MAP sensor. For the MAP sensor, like, even though if I shot it a lot, it seems pretty dirty, but it actually helps a lot. Just make sure not to put to clean with a rag on those wires. Okay, you don't want to damage them. Just use the pressure from the can to clean them. All three of them. That one right there, and you got one that's really hard to be seen. I wonder if I put it in the light, if we could actually see it. There's one at the bottom of this, but it's really hard to see. So make sure you clean them all. If you have a doubt that your connector are dirty right there, what I usually use, it's oh wait, where's the English side? Electrical contact cleaner. Does a good job. I usually use that for one thing particular. On the older model of Jeeps, we had a lot of problem because the ECM was actually on the firewall, and a lot of water and dirt came in, and we're using those cleaner to clean the connection. And what I learned from the H3 Alpha and etc., they have a lot of problem with the ECM. And what I realized, it's usually the dirt that came from the bottom. You see, there is no guard, nothing at all, preventing from all the water, the dirt, the salt to come in there and corrode them and get them dirty. As you can see, it's all dirty down there. Look at that. So if you got problems, electrical problems, it's not starting, or the gauge is going haywire, and you got a lot of problem, you don't know what's happening, don't change the ECM. Try to clean your connection and put it back. Be careful not to bend the pins, okay? The pins are really, really thin there, and just be really careful. Really sorry, hard time to talk today. Be really careful while you connect them back. Even when you remove them, clean really thoroughly with those cleaner, and then reinstall them. That could actually solve your problem, and you won't have to go to a mechanic and waste like $2,000 in work and plus the parts. So yeah, the cleaner is really, really useful. So what we'll do next is basically reinstall everything. So it's everything that I did till now, and the other way around, so it's going to be pretty easy. I just hope this will help you guys. When I bought this Hummer, if you guys saw the first video on my guide on to bargain a Hummer, that was one of the main things that I was able to bargain with the guy. I said, you got such a rough idle, that can be so many things. And he agreed and dropped the price from $1,000, right? Just because of that problem. So just make sure that you clean the whole thing, and you'll enjoy your drive a bit more, right? So yeah, that's it for today, and I hope it will help you guys.